Am I doing anything right?
You're handsomer than the other dads. Lots of them don't have hair. So that's good.
Awesome. I'm going to take baldness off my list of things to worry about.
Well, it's better than Elizabethtown, which isn't saying much. I am the Wiz! Alright everybody, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. If you like this review, please leave a like at the end of this video. And if you want to watch more, please subscribe. I do 3 reviews a week on this channel. Alright everybody, I am here to review the 2011 drama We Bought a Zoo, starring Matt Damon and Scarlett Johansson, directed by Cameron Crowe. If there is a filmmaker whose fall needs to be studied in depth, it's Cameron Crowe. In the 90s, Crowe was the IT writer and director. He wrote a beloved teen drama and Say Anything. He then directed the popular movie Singles, and then he directed an absolute banger, which is the romantic comedy charmer Jerry Maguire. And after the popularity of that film, he was able to make what has been considered his best work, the road trip coming-of-age Oscar-winning film Almost Famous. Then he stumbled. Vanilla Sky was a different type of movie for him, which was fine for me, but didn't exactly light the world on fire. But then Elizabethtown happened, and he received some of the worst critical reception and box office he had ever had at that time. And now we come to We Bought a Zoo, Cameron Crowe's family film about a guy who, well, bought a zoo. We Bought a Zoo feels like a film that tried to correct the mistakes of Elizabethtown, but added more problems during the process. One of the first problems with Elizabethtown was the leads. While Kirsten Dunst was decent despite the horrid script, everything was held back because of Orlando Bloom's forced, inauthentic performance. Zoo corrects this by giving us actors who are naturally charismatic, Matt Damon and Scarlett Johansson. Both actors are fully capable of carrying the film in its lighter and enjoyable moments, and they hold a natural charisma with each other throughout. In fact, the casting as a whole is pretty good. All the actors play their parts well. My favorite actor in this film, actually, is the youngest in the film, which is Maggie Elizabeth Jones, who plays the young daughter of Matt Damon's Benjamin. She easily has the best lines of the film, and is instantly cute and adorable in almost everything she does. But these performers can't will a movie to be amazing through performance alone, which leads to the big problem with We Bought a Zoo, the screenplay. There are 3 big problems with the writing of We Bought a Zoo. But before we do that, let's talk about Crowe's style of writing. In Crowe's best films, the screenplay relies on rich, charismatic characters that build into an incredibly satisfying and emotionally potent ending that, well, gives the feels, for lack of a better word. We Bought a Zoo technically has the feels. There are scenes that develop an emotionally potent crescendo on numerous plot lines. They have the staples of what has become Crowe's writing. Endings that have heart with some flashy romantic gestures while being buffeted with great songs. Think the scenes in Almost Famous with Tiny Dancer, or when Tom Cruise gets dumped by Renee Zellweger and Secret Garden comes up in the background in Jerry Maguire. We Bought a Zoo has those scenes, but it's missing the crucial ingredients that made those scenes in Maguire and Almost Famous so great. We Bought a Zoo has these scenes, but it's missing the crucial ingredients that made those scenes work at Maguire and Almost Famous so well, and that is those in-depth, lovingly created characters. Basically, all the characters, including Benjamin and his family, are fairly one-dimensional. Benjamin is having a midlife crisis, the son is a mopey but sensitive teen, the daughter is Jonathan Lipnicki from Jerry Maguire, but a girl, and honestly cuter, I would say. I think I like her character better than Jonathan Lipnicki. Don't shoot me, please. And that goes with every single character, including Johansson's Kelly and Elle Fanning's character, who just basically smiles all the time. She has a nice smile, though, I'll give her that. Secondly, everything is obviously telegraphed. And by obvious, I mean you know from moment 1 what is going to happen to each character. Immediately being Scarlett Johansson, obviously the love interest to Matt Damon. Once you meet Elle Fanning, obviously the love interest for the son. Generally, the film takes its most obvious, safe route with every single plotline and character, and it saps the dramatic tension right away. Finally, let's talk dialogue. If I could describe the dialogue in a few words, that would be simple and direct. Everything is spelled out so succinctly that it gives no other room for interpretation or even a small amount of metaphorical meaning. When characters flirt in the film, well, they don't really flirt, actually. They just simply state that they want to kiss each other for some reason, or that when they're angry, they just say that they're angry for some reason. There's really no depth to the dialogue and the story at all. Now, some will defend these issues and say, but Wiz, this is a family movie. They aren't meant to be crazy in-depth with complex characters. And I would say this. There are Saturday morning cartoons that have more depth and character than this movie. Matt Damon's hair in the film has more depth than any character or plot in this movie. And that's probably one of the most egregious issues I have with We Bought a Zoo. It feels like Cameron Crowe knew how he wanted these pivotal scenes to work and got the feel and tone of them right, but completely forgot how to build up these scenes. It's like he wanted to have the payoff but no build. And sadly, that just doesn't work. After experiencing how bad Elizabethtown was, I had really low expectations for We Bought a Zoo. And if I'm honest, We Bought a Zoo exceeded my expectations. It wasn't an absolute garbage fire like Elizabethtown was, but it's still a deeply flawed, utterly unearned slice of life drama. I think the most damning thing I can say about this film is this. I'm actually considering rewatching Cameron Crowe's 90s films again. Not for nostalgic purposes, but to see if maybe I had his genius all wrong. Because how can you explain how someone had a run of making some of the best films in the 90s and in the 2000s, only to fall off so damn hard that he can't replicate his previous success? If you had told me in 2001 that I would hate Crowe's next two films, I wouldn't believe you. And yet, here we are. Alright, so before I get to my rating, let's see what other people think about this film. Letterboxd users has it at a 3.2 out of 5, which stuns me. Oh my god. But then again, I know somebody who loves Elizabethtown, which is my friend Kim. So I guess that shouldn't surprise me. Rotten Tomatoes has it at a score of 64%. Another kind of surprising kind of score, but there are some people who just, I guess, are charmed by it because Matt Damon and Scarlett Johansson are good together, which, okay, I can kind of understand. And as for Oscars, this didn't get any. I am giving We Bought a Zoo 1 star out of 5. That is 1/2 higher than Elizabethtown. I hated Elizabethtown. I gotta be honest, there was so much about this film that felt like a copy of a Cameron Crowe film. It had the formula that it was striving to get, but it missed the fundamentals so badly that I had to remind myself again, no, actually, Wiz, this is a Cameron Crowe film. It's just that bad. The only positive thing I can really say about this film is that the actors themselves are charming. That's because they are naturally charismatic. And even though I did like Maggie Elizabeth Jones the best in this film, honestly, none of these characters or all the performances are all that great. Like, even though I do like these actors, I didn't find any of them all that engaging. And that's also because the writing is just plain bad. The characters are basically one-dimensional. The dialogue is so simple that it leaves nothing to interpretation, and it saps the dramatic tension out really badly. It's really bad with that. And I think the worst part of it is nothing about this film felt earned. Everything was telegraphed. You can tell exactly what was going to happen by the moment that you met each character. By moment one, you knew it was going to happen. And the only way to save this film with that is to have characters that are very charming and the actors working overtime to make up for the script, and it just doesn't work. I don't think the actors are bad in this movie at all. They did a good enough job that they could, but the script is so lackluster that I don't think they could have done anything to improve it without a complete rewrite. So, yeah. I am giving 1 star out of 5 for We Bought a Zoo. Again, not as bad as Elizabethtown, but, you know, just a little bit better. But that's not saying much. So, again, 1 star out of 5 for We Bought a Zoo. It is on Max if you are interested in watching it. And you know what? There are people who do like this movie. So, if you're interested, check it out, I guess. So, okay. All right, so let me ask you a question. Is there an actor, actress, writer, director, anybody that is in films that you loved and then started to really dislike their work? Of course, I've already said Cameron Crowe, but I will also say I used to really like Sandra Bullock in the 90s. I don't really like her work now. I fell off of her real hard. I just did not like her at all. So you can flame me on the comments for that one if you choose to, but Cameron Crowe and Sandra Bullock are my choices. But there you go. Let me know what yours is in the comments. All right, guys, and that is it for this review. Thank you again for watching. See you guys next time.
We bought a zoo.
We did that.
Do you remember what you told me when I was a kid? You only have to be courageous for 20 seconds.
It has guided me my entire life.
Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please like it. If you didn't, please subscribe. And if you have questions or comments, go ahead and leave a comment whether you liked it or not. It just helps, you know. If you want my written reviews, you can go onto my letterbox at IamThatWiz, or you can go to my website at IamTheWiz.com. Thank you very much again for watching. See you next time.